Good morning, students. Today I am going to teach about Civics Lesson 4, the Union Executive. In the previous lesson, we have studied already Governor, Chief Minister, Council of Ministers, and their duties and also their powers. But this lesson, we will discuss about President, Prime Minister, Council of Ministers, and their powers and also their duties. Now we will discuss about the President. The President is the head of the state and also Commander-in-Chief of Indian Armed Forces also. According to Article 53 of Constitution, all the executive powers are vested in the President. Next we will discuss about process of election. This refers how he was elected as a president. The President of India is elected by the Electoral College consisting of members from the both houses of parliament, which means Rajya Sabha and also the Lok Sabha, and legislative assemblies and also the legislative council of all states and also the union territories. And he or she elected by indirect method. Let us discuss about eligibility of president, which refers the qualification of the President of India. He should be a citizen of India. He must have completed the age of 35 years. He should have other qualification required to become a member of Lok Sabha also. Now we will discuss about the term of President. The President of India is elected for a term of 5 years unless removed earlier by the Parliament for violating the Constitution. This process by which the President is removed from the office is called impeachment. Next, powers of President. He has more power. Yes? Okay. So, what are the powers he has? Example, legislative powers, executive powers, judicial powers, emergency powers, and so on. Legislative powers. The President has the power to summon either both houses for a session. Here the summon refers call. Nominate members to the Parliament and cancel a session of either or both houses. Prorogue a session of either or both houses. Here the prorogue refers discontinue. Address the first session of the Lok Sabha also. Give or withhold assent to the bill passed by the Parliament. Here the assent refers accept. And then dissolve the Lok Sabha also. Promulgate ordinance when the Parliament is not in session. That is, pass temporary parliamentary act. Next we will discuss about executive power of President. The President is the head of the executive branch of the Union government, which refers central government. All the actions of government taken in the name of the President. And he has the power to appoint and remove the Prime Minister also. The power to appoint and remove the ministers from the Council of Ministers on the advice of Prime Minister. And also appointing the states governors and the member of election commission. The President has the power to grant pardon to person convicted of any offence. And also appoint the judges of Supreme Court, High Court, and also the Attorney Generals. Let's move to emergency power of President. The President has the power to declare a national emergency of country security is threatened by the war. Okay, when he declares the state emergency, if there is a breakdown of constitutional machinery of any state. A financial emergency when the financial stability of the country is threatened. Vice President. The Vice President is the presiding officer of the Rajya Sabha. The Vice President officiates as the President in his or her absence. The Vice President, on the advice of Prime Minister, acts as a President till a newly elected President take over the power. Next, move on to Prime Minister. Prime Minister is the real executive head of the Government of India. He or she is the leader of the majority party that forms the government at the central level. His term also only 5 years, but he can be re-elected. They can retain the position for the full term of Lok Sabha also. Powers of Prime Minister. The Prime Minister advises the President on appointment of Council of Ministers and assign the different portfolios also. Here the portfolios refers different type of departments like defense, home affairs, foreign affairs and finance, so on. The Prime Minister can dismiss ministers and shuffle the portfolios also. The Prime Minister presides over the meeting of the cabinet and coordinates and supervises the working of the various departments. The Prime Minister takes all major policy decisions and help draw the annual budgets also. Prime Minister acts as an advisor to the President of India. Prime Minister is the link between the President and the state legislature, which refers he acts as a bridge. Prime Minister advises the President on appointment of governors, ambassadors, auditor generals, judges, chief election commissioners, and so on. The Prime Minister advises the President on when to summon and prorogue the Parliament also. Next, we will discuss about Council of Ministers. The Prime Minister exercises the executive powers with the help of Council of Ministers. The President appoints the Council of Ministers on the advice of Prime Minister. To be eligible for appointment as a minister, a candidate must be a member of either houses of Parliament. If suppose they are not member of Parliament at the time of appointment, they will have to obtain, which means get the membership of either of the two houses within 6 months. The body formed by cabinet minister is called cabinet. It is most important body in government. The cabinet ministers are the senior ministers in independent charges of the most important ministries like defense, finance, external affairs, so on. The Council of Ministers is headed by the Prime Minister and consisting of cabinet ministers and the Minister of State and also the deputy ministers, which refers to additional ministers. The Prime Minister works in close collaboration with the cabinet ministers in arriving at important decisions. The ministers of states and deputy ministers assist the cabinet ministers in discharging their various works. Let's move on to collective responsibility. The Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers are collectively responsible to the legislature, as like the state legislature. This implies that if they lose the confidence of Lok Sabha, a vote of no confidence is passed against them. If it is passed with a simple majority, the Council of Ministers along with the Prime Minister has to resign. Okay, thank you students.